off until the fights go off as well. So normally we're here till about midnight or 1 in the morning, somewhere in that range. So be sure to join us. We're looking forward to talk to you about the fights. Other than that, geez, I wasn't kidding. I don't really have a lot of way of topics. I had personal problems today that I'm not going to talk about because of my new policy of not complaining on the show. We'll see how long that lasts. But I do have one or two topics to start off with, unless you got something you'd like to talk about, Ryan.
Well, hot off the presses, did you see that Jon Jones has requested his release from the UFC?
Oh, you're shitting me. Really? Really? I know I missed that entirely. Jesus Christ. Like I said, I've been busy doing stuff today. I don't believe that in the least bit. I don't think he's serious, obviously. Although, fuck, I mean, if you ask for that sort of thing, you got to be careful. You might get it.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to get that. There's no way that the UFC is going to let their light heavyweight champ just leave.
Right. No, not especially without taking a loss first. If he fought somebody and then lost, then yeah, I could see maybe them letting him go. But as long as he's still the reigning champ, I see little chance of that happening. I don't see that on my favorite MMA website, which is Bloody Elbow. But then again, they tend to be a little bit later than a lot of the other sources to report stuff because I think they want to be double check it and make sure all that good shit.
Well, he did it on Twitter.
Oh, well, yeah. Was it like within the last couple hours or so? Because if that's the case, I'm kind of surprised that Bloody Elbow hasn't picked it up yet. They're normally pretty good about that sort of thing. I mean, they're no bjpen.com, but
yeah, give me just a second here. Yeah, this was 34 minutes ago.
Oh wow,
the
yeah,
tweet
okay, yeah.
In question was part of kind of just like a tweet storm of his, but here it is in its entirety. I don't even make half of what Deontay Wilder makes. If my reputation causes you to undervalue me this much, just go ahead and release me from the UFC contract altogether. I'm sure some other promoter somewhere will be more than happy to pick me up.
God damn, Jon Jones. The sad part is he's 100% correct. If the UFC released him from his contract, he could probably sign a pretty lucrative short-term deal with another organization, not necessarily even MMA. Like he could probably go into amateur, not amateur, but like boxing and make a couple big paydays, or bare knuckle fighting and make a couple big paydays, or of course go to MMA. But I don't really think that there's any MMA organizations out there that are going to be able to throw the kind of money at him that he's making at the UFC, I would think.
He already makes, and he admitted this, I think, also during kind of his tweet storm, that he already makes over $5 million a fight. Like,
right, exactly.
People aren't lined up to give you more than that.
No. Well, he might get a couple big paydays compared to that. Like he could go to bare knuckle boxing and probably make $20 million for a fight once or twice, but those promoters don't have the type of money to keep throwing that money at him. Same thing like with Mike Tyson. Yeah, they're going to offer him $20 million to fight Wanderlei Silva and offer Silva $10 million to do it.
What's Silva's first name?
Wanderlei, isn't it? I know it's a W. Yeah, Wanderlei. Thank you. At least I knew it was pronounced with a V. But they can't pay Mike Tyson $20 million to fight 3 times a year or something like that. They'll go out of business. I would assume. Yeah. So he's in that kind of situation. He might get a couple big ticket spectacle fights, but he's not going to find another organization that will consistently pay him what he's making now.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Apparently, he asked for a shit ton of money to fight Ngannou, and now he wants to take his ball and go home because Dana came out and said that he was asking for ridiculous money. Never really gave like an actual figure, I don't think, or maybe Dana White did say a figure. I don't remember offhand, but regardless, now Jones is all pissed off, saying, "Hey, I never even said a figure, and I'm worth more than $5 million, and blah blah blah. Release me." Yeah. Fuck Jon Jones.
That'd be so awesome if and it just might happen. Dana White is not the type of person you bluff. Obviously, the UFC is not doing as well financially as they were at one time. For example, if he would have tried to pull that shit in like 2010, Dana would have kicked him in the ass on the way out. But now that with their current obligations and things like that, is a lot more lenient on his fighters, I think. But he is still Dana White, so he might still kick him on the ass on the way out.
Well, no, what he really should do is he should keep him for as long as that contract is, stick him out there on the Fight Pass, like prelims on non-pay-per-view cards, so there's no pay-per-view share, and just put him against the absolutely toughest fighter he can find every goddamn time.
Oh yeah, I wonder if there's contracts in his clause that they can't put him on a non-pay-per-view fight and things like that. I guess there probably is.
I doubt there would be, like, knowing how restrictive those contracts are. Like, they do not favor a fighter at all.
No. Normally, the fighter gets by on the generosity of the organization. Really, yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. That would be funny to see, just to see him languish in the non-pay-per-view, just make his basic $5 million a year. Because when he says $5 million, $5 million a fight. When he says $5 million, that can't count like pay-per-view and shit like that. He probably makes extra on that.
No, I think that probably does include like that sort of things. Because if you look at the disclosed fighter pay, you never see guys making like well over $1 million.
Yeah, well, I assumed he was in the 500 to show and 500 to win category, so he probably made $1 million off that. Okay, I guess and the other locker room bonuses and stuff like that as well. But I guess you're right. It'd probably take pay-per-view points to add that other $3 million or so.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So basically, he go from $5 million a fight to about $1 million or so, maybe $2 million with his sponsors and shit like that.
Well, yeah, and throwing him on like early on in a fight that no one's fucking watching, like his sponsors are going to dry up too.
Right. Although, I can see them moving him to a fight night type thing to give him shit and punish him. But obviously, he'd still be the main event, top of the card. There's no way they'd ever put him in the prelims, not while he still held the title, anyways.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, throw him on a fight night. Throw him on a fight night and stop intervening every time he does something that breaks the law. Because you know goddamn well the UFC lawyers are helping him out in all of his legal battles.
Oh, yeah, I would assume so. God, why can't they have just a cool person as a champ anymore? Between him, Conor McGregor, Colby Covington, and not just champ, just high level. Why are so many of the high level fighters just dicks lately? It didn't used to be that way. Like GSP is one of my fucking heroes. A lot of it's because of how respectful and well spoken he always was.
Well, if you think about it, it's not really that bad. You have Conor and you have Colby, and those are just absolute acts that they're putting on. Like, those are just completely gimmicks. You have John Jones, who is just a reprehensible human being.
Right.
But past that, like, it's not that bad. Like, Kamaru Usman, not that bad of a guy. Khabib.
Right.
Like, you can say things for Khabib as far as, like, jumping the cage and all of that, but, like, he has his morals and he sticks to them.
Right. All my issues of Khabib are about his particular set of morals. But I do respect the guy for standing up for what he believes in, and he's lost a lot of money doing that too.
But yeah, that. Then you got Stipe, who's still a fucking fireman.
Right.
Like,
so I guess not. Too. Yeah. I guess not just champs, but I'm thinking like just a lot of high level or mid level fighters. Like Mike Perry is a good example. Someone who's just an utter douchebag. And once again, if he's acting, well, I'm going to act like he's a douchebag.
No, I just think he's dumb as a box of cock. Did you see the news that in his next fight, the only person that's going to accompany him to the ring is his girlfriend?
Yeah, I saw something about that. I'm like, well, that seems about right. Because obviously he's so highly trained at this point, no one can even help him. His girlfriend's just there to show him his boobs if he loses motivation.
He's just a technical marvel, that Mike Perry.
Yeah, no kidding. Did you hear Colby Covington left his gym, ATT?
Well, it was more he was no longer welcome there than him saying, I'm leaving.
Right. Is that one of those voluntary things that we were speaking about the other day?
Yeah, that's one of those things where you resign before you're fired, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I apologize, guys. The hole in my tooth is actually, I don't know if it got bigger or if I'm just noticing it more, but I'm catching my tongue on it all the time. So I am going to be more slurred and mumbly than normal, if possible.
You are a mealy-mouthed son of a bitch.
Well, it's going to be at least 10% more today, so I apologize in advance, guys. But I'll try to concentrate on my enunciation. Oh, it fucking hurts too. I don't talk a ton right now since I'm not at work, just between me and the wife. And this is the most I've been talking the entire day. And man, it's already starting to make my tongue hurt. It just rubs up against it every day. Oh, sorry, fucking, I'm complaining. Never mind. Let's move on.
Oh, Jesus. So
Minneapolis
is on fire. How about that, huh?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what? This worries me because, Minneapolis, riots happen occasionally, bad stuff happens occasionally, but it's always in other places. That's how it works until it's not. And Minneapolis, I didn't even know it was a predominantly black city because, Minnesota does not really strike me as like, a very urban state, where I guess I don't know a lot about it. But it's getting so nutty over there that I'm kind of just waiting for something to happen in Detroit, because I assume Detroit's probably got a lot higher percentage of Afro-Americans than Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh yeah, there's a much larger black population in Detroit than Minneapolis. It's just the ones that are in Minneapolis are real fucking pissed right now.
Oh yeah, and okay, I'm going to say something that's stuff that is probably going to make me unpopular with certain views, but I totally understand why they're rioting. I totally am against them doing it. I don't think that that's the proper way to show your displeasure and to protest. You hurt your cause when you do that kind of shit. You're hurting your community when you do stuff like burn down your auto zone. You hurt your entire community when you burn down the fucking police station, because guess what? Now every unsolved crime in the area in the last 10 years is going to stay unsolved because you just fucked up all the evidence. They broke into the evidence room. I'm sure it wasn't for that reason, but probably to get a whole bunch of drugs and things like that, which is where they store that shit, from what I assume. It's just a bad scene. I mean, it's not helping anybody, and it pisses me off because I see on Facebook people basically defending it. Yeah. So they're like, "Oh, so you're saying riots are worse than murder?" I'm like, no, two wrongs don't make a right. Doing something bad because someone else did something bad is never the solution to a problem. I don't know, Ryan. What do you think?
So here's the thing. You're going to have to forgive me for stepping onto a soapbox at some point during this diatribe. But there is a time for riots. There is not a time for looting. Now, there is a time when things get so fucked up that you do have to kind of have a show of force. And I understand why people are getting there with this Minneapolis thing, because you have 4 cops just completely complicit in essentially the murder of this unarmed dude, and everyone could fucking see it. And then on top of that, before these like large scale riots happen, again, you have a DA that steps out there and says, "Oh, I watched the videos and I just don't think there's enough there to charge for murder." So yeah, you can be pissed off, but here's the message to anyone that just would happen to be listening. I'm guessing via download, because I doubt any of the rioters are here with our, live 8 people. But goddamn it, stop looting like fucking morons. All you do is reinforce the stereotype that got a stupid fucking cop to kneel on a guy's goddamn neck and kill him. Show some fucking restraint. If you want to riot and be pissed off at the cops and even like throw shit at the fucking cop cars, I don't give a fuck. When you start looting random things just because you want to be opportunistic, you're not going to get shit done. Stop it.
Well, I can't disagree with any of that, although I won't, I can't work up that type of enthusiasm for the subject. Yeah, you're 100% right. It's all it does is hurt their cause, and it gives people the perception that you're about trying to steal stuff, not trying to change the way people think, which is what all these protests and riots are supposed to be for. And they are spreading out to other areas. There was live protests and stuff in Detroit, like as we were going on the air. I was watching live feeds of it, and my Facebook a feed is filled with people saying, "Hey, don't try to go on I-75 right now," because apparently the protests have spilled out onto the highway, which is another thing I think is fucking bullshit. I don't know. There's 2 ways to look at it. Some people think that just regular protests don't do anything because people can just drive right by it and ignore it. So other than the attention that the media gets, there's not a lot of point in protesting, which is why people get into the street and try to disrupt other people's lives to get their attention, which I think is bullshit. But I understand why they're doing it. I don't know. What do you think, Uncle Canada?
No. So why are they doing it? So there's a difference between protesting and looting and basically, fucking messing up these small businesses. You can protest all you want. God bless you guys in the States. You guys do that a lot. But I think Ryan's point is fucking when you guys try to, the people are taking advantage of that situation by.
Well, I am pretty black.
So I understand protesting is one thing, but civil disobedience and just fucking going on a rampage, destroying businesses, of course, right, excellent point. Opportunistic, right? Fucking, it's all horseshit. Like, what are you trying to prove? Again, you are reinforcing a certain stereotype that's out in the news, and then you get left-stream media painting it one way, right-stream media painting it another way, so it's all fucked up, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And from what I'm reading, I don't have this confirmed yet. I've read stuff that things like insurance doesn't cover stuff like riots. So the guy that owned that AutoZone is fucked. Everyone's, of course, knows about the AutoZone that the rioters burnt last night or the night before last, I believe. And obviously that dude didn't have nothing to do with it. And now his entire life is ruined, assuming what I read is correct and the insurance won't cover it.
It depends on the policy that guy has. Generally, there are blanket exclusions for things like acts of war, which like civil disobedience or riots don't necessarily fall into. So it's probably either someone that is not very well versed in insurance, or it just so happens that this guy has a terrible insurance policy.
So okay. Oh, and hopefully I'm wrong because I didn't read too much into it, but I did see headlines like that and articles that spoke on stuff like that. So, and that's terrible. Come on.
PJ.
Well,
sorry,
ahead,
I just want to cut it. All right, so like the AutoZone, this and that, those franchisees are a little bit different. I'm assuming, and I'm not sure if my assumptions are correct. Whereas you're part of you're a franchisee, you have some type of protection. The ones that are getting fucked are these small mom and pop guys, people in general, right? Nothing, and I'm assuming insurance is already high. Expenses are high, and they have no franchisor to kind of fall back on. Those are the ones getting fucked.
Oh yeah, and I think with franchises, it depends on the franchise because I know some of in some franchises you're actually able to buy your building. Like when you see in McDonald's, they say whenever they advertise some sort of special, they say participation may vary because some owners can do their own shit. I think it depends on levels of stuff. But I'm assuming he's on the hook for, if nothing else, for all the stuff in his store, his entire inventory and things like that. But regardless, you're right. For as bad as it is for someone like that, it's got to be worse for the mom and pop stores who have no backup at all.
It all depends on how you're insured on all of that. But still, the point remains, like, why take it out on people that have nothing to do with the actual problem? It's like if every time I went outside, every time I saw a midget, they kicked me in the shin, and I went and looted a big and tall store. Like, sorry, I'm just not going after the right people.
Right, exactly. And that's why, God, I mean, and the thing that screwed with my head the most was when they burnt down a fucking police precinct. The fucking police just backed off and let them do it. I'm not sure they probably had much choice in the matter at that point, unless they're going to start fucking shooting people. So I don't know. Was that the right choice for them to make? What do you think?
Like, that was probably the thing they were going to burn down. So at least those were the people they had a fucking issue with.
Right, but you see what kind of problems that causes with the actual community burning down your own police station, as far as like with ongoing cases and things like that. But so I don't know. I still think that. Well, here's my question. So, do you think the police should have backed down and let them burn the stuff and figure that was the best course of action, or do you think that they should have stood their ground and tried to protect the police station?
Crack skulls. These fucking idiots are fucking attacking innocent people, be it police officers, be it whoever. Fuck that. every country has rules and laws, right? For you to go out of your way and fucking want to burn down stuff, especially a precinct. No, man. Laws got to be enforced, right? If you're gonna fucking do stupid shit, there's fucking there's rules and like you can.
The counterpoint from it, and you have to understand kind of where these people are coming from. Yes, I don't agree with burning down a police station. Let's just start there. However, the people that are supposed to be following the laws because they completely understand the laws, they're supposed to be serving and protecting. Obviously, that's not necessarily required by them with Supreme Court rulings and all that shit, but they just watched 4 policemen kill someone in their neighborhood, someone that, looks like them. So they have no faith in anybody in that building anymore. And to see that the DA would not even charge these people, to have this shit go on for several days and have nothing happen to these apparent murderers, you have to understand the frustration there. And yes, I don't agree with the way that they go about it, but you have to appreciate it somewhere there.
Okay, so Ryan, just to counter that, so 4 pieces of shit cops out of how many work in that area? Let's say 1,000, right? So you're gonna fucking stereotype, but 4 pieces of shit, you're gonna say all fucking 1,000 are bad as well, and let's fucking burn their houses, let's fucking burn the precinct. No, man, no. There's, again, laws are established out there, court system is out there for a reason, right? Once anybody breaks the law, nobody's above the law. There's certain steps to be prosecuted, right? You're innocent until proven guilty, right? This is obviously an extreme situation, but you cannot stereotype 4 scumbags and say, well, the rest 996 are just as bad, so let's fucking take them down as well. Fuck that, man. There's got to be there's got to be some type of civil discourse at the same time. I can't respect that. You're fucking, and again, who's gonna end up paying for that burned precinct? Taxpayers, right?
Well, absolutely. And again, I don't agree with the way that they went about it, but they also are dealing with an institution, and I'm just talking the institution of police at large. When you have those absolutely shitty ones, the problem is hardly anything ever happens to them. And it looks like another replay of that here. At least the one has now been arrested earlier today. But you see this all the time where this shit happens and nothing ever happens to the cops because a DA is not going to bring charges most of the time to a cop because there is a long standing relationship there. There needs to be another way to handle things where it's cops doing something illegal as opposed to just going to that DA. There needs to be some sort of third party there that doesn't have, the bias to the cop or the bias against the cop, but some sort of neutral arbiter.
Doesn't the internal affairs handle a lot of that? Or would that just be investigating the crime? So it would still go to the regular DA?
In all of these, it goes to the DA whether or not you're going to be prosecuted. I think internal affairs, and I mean, Tenor would be more of an expert on this, but for the most part, internal affairs is just taking care of internal matters, more of are they going to fire you, demote you, stuff like that. That has nothing to do generally with bringing charges.
Oh, I thought all I know about it is what you see in the movies where internal affairs is trying to bust dirty cops and shit like that. But I did want to address something that Uncle Canada said about, how it's bullshit that, 4 bad cops are going to affect the reputation of 1,000 good cops. And I wish this was my quote, but it's not. But Chris Rock said it this way. He said he doesn't like hearing, that cops are, almost all good. There was only a couple bad. Most cops are good. There's only a couple bad apples. He says because certain jobs you have to all be good. You can't have a couple bad apples. Imagine if it was that way with pilots. If American Airlines said, "Yeah, most of our pilots are pretty good. We only have a couple bad apples that like to slam planes in the fucking mountains."
Apples and fucking bananas. Are you fucking kidding me? So again, Canadian cops are different than you guys in the States because obviously with the guns you guys have over there, every interaction is potential life or death interaction, right?
Right. But his point was this is not the type of job where you can have a couple bad apples. You have to make sure that all of them are good. All right, we got both Sly and Tenor in right now. Hi, guys. Appreciate you guys calling.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's up,
How's the wife's MacBook there, Tenor?
How her MacBook Pro? Dude, I don't even want to talk about it. I still couldn't get signed up today.
Oh, what a pain in the ass.
But I didn't let it ruin my day though. So fuck them. So
all right,
yeah,
you guys go to town, man.
I'm just honestly, guys. So when we talked the other day, I hadn't watched the video, and I put it on last night for a bit. I didn't watch it from start to finish. I didn't need to. I am fucking completely. Jay's talking about a few apples spoiling the bunch. Dude, I am fucking sick and tired of having to be behind the 8 ball and work my balls off for community relations. I mean, that's my job. I get it. But I'm so far behind the 8 ball every time I have an interaction with anybody in the public, especially inner city youth. And I work with a lot of them. Granted, I know I'm in upstate, but I'm in a special situation where basically my jurisdiction, part of my jurisdiction is a housing project of people from New York City. And I work my ass off to make community relations good. I do a lot of community policing. I do a lot of talking. I do a lot of just making contacts, positive contacts. Hey, man, did you see that Mets game? Anything I can do to make a positive contact with you, 100 positive contacts before I have to make a negative interaction with you or correct you on a negative behavior that you're doing, I do. And I am so sick and tired of every time it seems I get some. And this is all cops, not just me. I'm just speaking subjectively. I'm so sick and tired of having to work to get back on top of that mountain again. Because every time you see this happen, and this is fairly blatant. I mean, anytime there's a officer-involved shooting, because of the media and where we're at, we get knocked down a rung, whether it's justified or not, just because the media portrays it a certain way. But something like this, especially, that's very, very glaring, we get knocked back so far that we've got to work our ass off to get back into a place where we have decent rapport. And I'm right back down at the fucking I'm right back down at the bottom of the mountain again. Now that's my job. I got to fucking get that back, and I will. I'm good at that shit. I'm not a cocky individual. I'm good at very, very few things, but being able to build rapport, I'm pretty fucking good at, and I'll get there again. But every time this happens, man, I get knocked down to the bottom of the mountain. I got to climb back up and build that trust and rapport. And I'm sick of fucking guys like this making a bad name for the rest of us. And make no bones about it. Hold on 1 second. And make no bones about it. Make no bones about it. That guy leaning on his neck, it's bad. And he was doing something fucking wrong. But there's no cops that I know or I've spoken to that are going to blatantly commit a murder. What's his intent? Do you think his intent was to kill that guy? Honestly, no cop wants to fucking kill anybody, especially with a crowd surrounding him with a video camera out. His intent wasn't to kill that guy. Did he? Yes, he did. He did it fucking negligently. He's a fucking idiot. But no one's going to sit there and kill somebody on camera on purpose, unless that dude's a straight sociopath. He's a fucking idiot is what he is. But in my opinion, nobody's just going to go out there and kill somebody on camera in the daytime with fucking tons of people around him. That's just my opinion. And I'm not defending him because I've already said he's a goddamn idiot and he's making me work fucking 10 times harder to make my job easier.
Hey, Tenor, I listen, I totally agree. And listen, I support the boys and I support the military. I think you guys fucking are, it's a shitty job, right? Especially, again, more so in the States than Canada. But my question is this: have you ever had interactions, like, for example, shit like this happening where you're working and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get kind of throwing insults for somebody you don't know or whatever after something like this happens, like "fuck you, pig" or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever felt the repercussions of this after the fact, or?
Yeah, man, all the fucking time. I mean, there's a huge distrust in society without one of these things happening that I deal with that. But that's That's what I expect, though. That there's a huge disconnect between the everyday public, especially inner city public, and what I do. You know, we see people on their fucking worst days, whether we're arresting them or we're dealing with a victim who's been victimized, whether it be rape or assault or theft or whatever it is. We're dealing with people at their worst. It's their worst day. And I expect that type of behavior without this happening. But when this happens, it makes it fucking 10 times worse, man. And there was another point I was going to make. I wish, and it was a pretty good one, but fuck, I'm lost on it. So yes, I've dealt with the repercussions of that before, but I expect it. And you have to go into a situation like that. I tend to be a little pessimistic. I tend to think that I'm going to have the worst happen in a situation because you know what? When it happens, it doesn't bother me that much. If I go into a situation thinking, boy, this is going to fucking turn out perfect, well, guess what? It never does. So why am I going to have that outlook on it? I expect to get fuck you'd. I expect to get motherfuckered. I expect to, everything bad to happen. But you know what? When I expect to get motherfuckered and I get assholed, guess what? I'm pretty happy about that.
Let me ask you a question, kind of put you on the spot, so don't answer this if you're not comfortable with it. We were talking earlier about how the police there actually abandoned the precinct and left it to the looters. Would you have done that? Do you think that was the right choice?
Man,
I realize that's kind of a hard question to answer.
Yeah, that's a real tough thing to swallow. But I once again, not getting into political things. I'm not a political guy. I don't even vote. What did Trump say? Something about when the looting starts, the shooting starts. That's fucking retarded, man. I'm not. I'm not going to start fucking popping off rounds on something. But you got to realize there's victims out there, and I think you guys covered this a little bit. There's victims out there whose whole case just got blown because the chain of custody for the evidence is completely blown out of the water. There's going to be rapists. There's going to be murderers that are going to walk free because the chain of custody on the evidence in that evidence room in that precinct has been completely destroyed. So what happens with their closure?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. There you go. That was actually one of the things I actually wanted to ask you about because I was just making guesses on all these things, saying the detrimental effect of doing that to your own police precinct would have on the community, and it sounds like I was kind of correct on it, huh?
Yeah, man. What happens with those people's closure?
I think the moral to the story here, though, and just very quickly on it, I think Tenner's selling himself a little short by saying he's not very cocky. Tenner is a very cocky individual. I just want to put it out there for everyone. This man is rocking a kickstand.
He might be cocky, but he might be cocky, but who's the one that likes cock, though?
You, obviously.
So anyways, okay, so that precinct thing, I think what it was one of those collectives. Let's fucking let the looters, let's fucking give them something to fucking explode about this and that, right?
Well, I think the call was from the mayor, wasn't it? Like, I don't even think it was the officer's decision. Like, I think the mayor made that call.
Exactly. So let the looters fucking go at it. Let them fucking, fucking just get it out of their system. And yeah, but again, to me, it's bullshit. I'm like, for you to fucking just destroy a precinct, and again, stereotype from 4 scumbags and fucking say all the rest are scumbags. Let's fucking burn down this and that. I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. But again, I don't know. Like, I'm a little bit naive, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and I remember what I was going to say with Brad's question because I thought he was going one route when he asked me if I had dealt with some.
Speaking to the phone.
Oh my! All right, my bad.
There you go.
So, yeah, I thought Grad was going to ask me one thing about if I ever been in a situation like with the one guy who was doing crowd control and he kept looking over and kind of caught in this inner struggle of what do I do? Do I stop him? Because it seemed like he had some kind of an internal thing. Like I said, I didn't watch the whole video. I thought Grad was going to ask me if I've ever been in that situation, and I actually have. I was in the back of an ambulance with another cop that was searching a guy. He had nodded out in traffic. He just shot heroin, had a needle in his arm, nodded out at a stoplight in traffic, and this cop was searching him. And this guy's out of it. You know, he's in the back of the ambulance at this point when I showed up for backup. The guy's out of it, and this cop, who was actually a buddy of mine, I've hung out with him, I drank with him before, was searching the guy and asking if he had any needles. The guy was kind of like, oh, nothing on me. So this cop actually went into his pocket searching him and got a accidental needle stick. He got stuck. Well, he fucking lost his shit on this dude and had his arm behind his back and was cranking on it. And he was going to fucking snap his arm. I've been there, you know, I did it accidentally. I didn't do it on purpose, but he was cranking on that fucking arm. And he, you know, and I actually had to say, yo, fucking knock it off. You're about to snap his arm and you know this shit. And he actually listened to me. I said it in front of the EMTs. I said it in front of everybody. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm not going down for you fucking snapping a dude's arm. And now if we're wrestling with somebody, he's fighting with us and his shit gets broke, well, so be it. You shouldn't be fucking fighting with me. But this guy was fucking not fighting. The cop was pissed off because he caught an accidental needle stick on his fucking search going through the dude's fucking pocket, and he was going to snap his arm. And I fucking told him straight up, stop, don't break his fucking arm.
Yeah, so did you get any pushback on that? You know, the entire brotherhood of cops and all that good shit?
No, it was just he and I in the ambulance and the EMTs and stuff. But no, he didn't question me. Maybe if there was a crowd of people around, it would be a little different. Maybe he would question me a little more, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You're punking me out in front of everybody. But, you know, we were in the back of an ambulance, and I knew what the fuck he was doing, and I knew he was upset, and I knew why he was doing what he was doing, but it wasn't fucking appropriate, and he had to be told so. Because I'm not going down with you for that bullshit.
Well, beyond that, sometimes it just takes that someone saying something to snap somebody back into it, right? Like, I think we've all been there of being super pissed off and doing something ridiculous and just having someone call you out on it that snaps you back into like, oh yeah, I am fucking up.
Yeah, it's called changing the channel. Sometimes you got to change somebody's channel a little bit. You know, sometimes it'll take a stiff arm to the chest or something. You got to change their channel a little bit because they're focused on something. You know, I mean, you think about it. You know, you want to talk about like dogs and certain behavior. I've had to change the channel on a dog a little bit because they get so, especially pit mixes, you know, go fucking figure. When they're so focused on something, sometimes you need to snap them back in and change their channel. Did Grad fall down?
Maybe not.
All right, so yeah, so yeah, that, I guess I probably, I don't know, where's the fuck counter? Because I'm sure I've motherfucked and fucked a lot on that rant.
That's all right. I think you are justified on that one.
So in happier news, before we get there, Tenor, what do you think of John Jones asking for his release?
Oh yeah, I didn't even hear it. I heard you guys talk about it a little bit. I was fucking around with a bicycle, and I heard Jay say, "Oh, I didn't even get that on my bloody uterus feed or whatever the hell he listens to," and I actually Googled it real quick, and I saw that he was all pissed off, and Dana sat him down a little bit, it seemed like, and he asked for his release. Fucking release him, dude. The guy's had so many fucking chances. And you guys said this already. Who's gonna pay him more? What's he going to do? Release him? Who's going to really pay him more than what he makes with the UFC doing what he does? Now, maybe if he goes to boxing, like Jay said, he might get a couple of paydays there, but he's not going to do it on Submission Underground. He's not going to do it in bare knuckle. He's not going to get paid consistently for the longevity that he's still got left in his career for doing anything else. So, you know, sometimes you got to call motherfuckers bluff.
No, right, yeah, exactly. The only time he would get that money is if he could find a boxing payday, but he's really only going to get one or two because he's not going to win.
Right. No, he's not going to find. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
And he's not going to find a deal like McGregor did fighting Mayweather. So he's not going to get one of those $50 or $60 million paydays. He might get 10 or 20 or 30, but that'd be the top end of it, really.
No, I bet you he could get 50, 60 million if
you think he
was to
from Deontay.
No, Mike Tyson.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Think about it, right? It's going to be it would be a complete freak show fight. You have what people would promote as the greatest mixed martial artist of all time versus the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time, which is a complete lie. But people would buy the shit out of that.
I'd watch that for sure. I'm a Tyson fan, man. God, and Tito, I respect.
I would feel so bad about watching that, but I would, because that wouldn't be fair at fucking all. I got a lot of respect for Mike Tyson's skills, but that wouldn't be a fair fight. Even if they did under boxing, I don't think that'd be a fair fight.
Wait, are you saying John Jones would beat 53-year-old Tyson in boxing?
Obviously, if MMA, there wouldn't be a fight at all.
Well, yeah,
boxing, obviously, Tyson's got a lot better chance. But yeah, I know. I think he might be able to. He's got that ridiculous reach. I don't know. I mean, I guess you're right. I guess it wouldn't be the one-sided fight that I was thinking offhand, because obviously John Jones is going to smoke the average 54-year-old, regardless of whatever sport that they were in.
But you got to think, Jay. He can't poke eyes in boxing gloves.
That's true. He also can't kick him in the knee. So which is his two major weapons. He fights like a fucking 5-year-old. I'm going to poke you in the eye and kick you in the knee.
And you got to factor in the fact that Tyson knows more about or has actually forgotten more about boxing than John Jones will ever know.
Yeah, you're right. I guess that's being too pessimistic about it. Yeah, that would be a fun fight to watch. If in boxing, I mean, obviously anything could happen, but it'd be just fucking awesome to watch Tyson hammer about a half a dozen fucking hooks into John Jones's ribs and watch him collapse like an accordion.
Mind you, I don't think John Jones would ever take the fight.
No.
As egotistical as that guy is, like, he generally makes the smart move. He's not going to take a fight that he even thinks he can lose.
Right.
So if he doesn't take that fight, there's no way he takes a fucking Deontay Wilder fight, then, right?
Oh no chance in hell.
No, and apparently Dana White was claiming that that's the type of money that John Jones wanted for the fight at heavyweight. He said he didn't ask for like $5 million more. He wanted like $30 million. So instead of making,
I thought the initial rumor was Tito Ortiz against Tyson. Did I miss something or what?
Oh no,
there are a few rumors out there. There's that. There's Tyson versus Vanderlei Silva and bare knuckle. Like, there are several rumors out there.
See, the Tyson fucking Tito one, that would be a good fight, I think.
What?
I don't know, man.
In boxing?
You don't think so?
Not boxing.
No, Tito is fucking. I don't know. I enjoy the fight, I guess. I know, but again, you got to take into account the age factor as well, right? You know
shit, we'd all enjoy it. We all enjoyed it in the 80s and 90s when we knew it was only going to last a minute. We gladly shelled out $45 to see a fucking lamb led to slaughter. We'll enjoy anybody he fights. I think we'd all enjoy that, wouldn't we?
I think we'd especially enjoy Tito just for the fact that his head is the size of a heavy bag.
Oh my god!
How old is Tito?
Dude, the guy fought with a fractured skull, dude.
Yeah, no, Tito's a fucking warrior, man.
Something like that.
Yeah, okay, so fucking Tyson's 54, so you got to take into account the age factor as well, right? So I wouldn't mind watching that fight, to be honest. But
yeah, well, you're talking about Tito with a cracked skull. You got to forget that Mike Tyson fought with a broken back, spinal.
Oh, yeah. Doss wanted to know if we had talked about Conor versus Anderson yet. You guys want to cover that?
We can, and I think it's Dose.
A Dose? That's what I said. I said the Dose. Doss. Mr. 2 wanted to talk about that.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Supposedly.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it's not a done deal in the least bit. But Anderson Silva posted something about how he'd like to do a super fight with Conor McGregor at like 177 pounds, and Conor just tweeted back, "I agree," and that's as far as it's went so far. So who knows if it'll actually happen? If Dana would want that type of fight to happen. Personally, for myself, I hope it doesn't happen. Fucking Anderson Silva hasn't won a fight since 2013 or some shit like that. The last thing I want to do is watch Conor McGregor beat up on one of my heroes after his time's been over, or should be over rather.
Well, this is the Conor McGregor handbook. Like, this is what he does. He picks fights that he has a very small chance of losing, because someone either is a perfect style matchup or in this case is well past their prime. Like, this is how he conflates himself to be the greatest ever. It's just handpicking wins.
Is he handpicking it if he gets called out, though? That's the thing. If someone calls you out, are you truly handpicking? You're saying, okay.
I think so. When like he's never. You have other people that. How long has Justin Gaethje been calling him out? You don't see him say okay to that.
No, I'd love to see that fight, actually.
Right. And honestly, I think Conor McGregor is good at this. I think he might have manipulated Anderson Silva a little bit because he had just posted about how he considered Anderson Silva the greatest fighter of all time and himself as number 2, but how he would clearly be number 1 before his career was over.
So how big of a crock of shit is that? Conor thinking that he's the second of all time as far as greatest? Like,
and will definitely be greatest. He says it. He said it's guaranteed. It's assured. There's not a chance that I won't be the greatest by the end of this. Since he's going to go on and win all these titles and apparently never defend them. That just irks me so much. That was the very first thing I learned from MMA. One of the very first sayings was, "You're not truly the champion until you've defended your title." That was like people were like, "Hey, that's Chuck Liddell, that's Anderson Silva. Hey, you're not the champion unless you've defended your title. That's Joe Lozano over there." It was just like that, basically.
But is there any question that he's not the greatest though?
Oh, Jesus Christ! I don't know.
Hold on, Jay. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
The
top 5, top 10. Yeah.
The greatest showman. The greatest hype man. He is the greatest in certain respects. However, he may not be the greatest MMA fighter, but he is head and shoulders above anybody as being the greatest MMA showman.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you are right on that. He is the most popular MMA fighter on the planet for a reason, and it's because he is really good at manipulation and presentation.
No, it's called self-promotion. It's not manipulation, dude. He self-promotes and he gets the job done, right? He fucking sells up tickets.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly how you do it. He's self-promoting by manipulating people's emotions, and using his ability to do that to get the fights that he wants a lot of times. He's guided his own career fight-wise pretty fucking brilliantly. Part of it, of course, is that at one point the UFC decided they wanted to protect him and make them their next big star, so they gave him favorable fights. But a lot of it was him picking fights with the right people as well.
So I contest that Conor McGregor is the greatest MMA showman of all time.
And I really can't argue with that. I will say that when it comes to greatest fighter, he's not even top 20.
Stop. Oh, come on, Ryan. Dude, stop. Ryan.
You're a Ryan, you're a hater, dude. You're a hater. No, I'd say fucking top 5, top 10.
So let's put it this
way. He's easily top 10. Easily top 10.
Not even close. How many fighters in the history of the UFC have attempted to defend a belt?
Oh, quite a few. Hundreds.
You know who's not on that list?
Conor McGregor.
How many have won titles in 2 different weight classes?
Yeah.
Was it like 3 other people or something like that?
Destroyed, not fucking one, destroyed the opponents.
And then never even attempted to defend the title because he had the matchup that he wanted and then had no interest of being exposed.
But you have to. I realized that Mendez took his fight on 2 weeks' notice, so he definitely gained something there. But you can't tell me that him with a bum knee, not training for a wrestler, taking a fight with the greatest wrestler, White Claw time, taking a fight with probably one of the greatest wrestlers in that 145-pound weight class.
He was really good too.
There was some danger there as well. I mean, so you can't have it both ways. He can't handpick it and still not be in danger. Yes, he took a fight against a guy. They were both on short notice. However, he was training for a fight, but he was probably one of the greatest wrestlers in that weight class at the time. And it was still pretty freaking dangerous because he wasn't preparing for a wrestler. So you got to give credit where credit's due.
I'll give him credit for that. He's had some good showings, but if you're talking greatest of all time, let's think of some of these names, right? Does he have a better resume than Anderson Silva? I don't know. No.
No, okay. No. Obviously not.
Does he have a better resume than George St. Pierre?
No.
Does he have a better resume? Let's talk about even some newer people than Henry Cejudo.
Oh no,
maybe.
I don't know. That's a hard one.
I think so.
Does he have a better resume than Demetrius Johnson?
Nope.
Does he have a better resume than Matt Hughes?
Close, maybe.
Does he have a better resume than John Jones?
No.
Does he have a better resume than Daniel Cormier?
Close, maybe.
Like we're already at like 10 people, right? So he's not top 10.
Yeah, no, you're at 7 people. You've got to find 13 more people to knock him out of the top 20, Ryan.
Yeah, but right, it's all context as well. Fucking Connor fucking destroyed some of these his last few fights, like fucking literally within seconds in that, right? So you got to take that into account as well, right? You can't. I know what you're trying to get at, this and that, but he's up there, man. I'm gonna fucking say top 10.
He's by no means is anybody on this podcast saying he's the greatest of all time. I said he's the greatest showman of all time, and I stand by that. I don't think you can find somebody that's going to surpass him in that genre. No one is contesting that he's the greatest of all time, but you got to admit he's a hell sight better than top 20 of all time, man. You name 7 people, and some of those are close.
They're not that close.
All right. Hey, so 2 showmen. Who would you guys pick? Who's better, I guess, showman wise, and based on their fucking career? Chael Sonnen or Connor? I that'd be very close. I fucking say Chael fucking gets it by cut here. What do you guys think?
I think Chael is a better talker.
Yeah, but not a better showman. Yeah, those are 2 different things. I think, in my opinion, being a better talker or somebody who cuts promos. Chael cuts probably better promos than he does, but I don't think he's a better showman.
And if you want to talk just pure, pay-per-view buys, one of the greatest showmen ever in the UFC, Brock Lesnar.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Of course, man. Fuck.
He's a crossover showman though, because he brought a whole genre of people that wouldn't even be into MMA. So he's cross promotional.
Right. Plus, he has the advantage of being physically a fucking spectacle. So it's a little easier to promote himself when you look like that too.
You know, as far as showman goes, you guys don't forget fucking Mayhem Miller. His fucking walkouts were great, man. Over in Pride, Mayhem was a showman.
Mm-hmm. Until he went crazy.
Yeah. Wasn't he? Who was he fighting? Sakuraba or somebody where he had their back or something. He was pounding them. Then he looked up at the camera, smiled, and gave a peace sign, and then started fucking pounding on him again.
Who was that guy? I can't remember his name at all, but there was a guy back in, I think it was Pride, that always had crazy walkouts. Like he dressed up as like a robot or just like a
Genki Sudo.
Do you know what I'm talking about? That's who it was. Yeah,
Genki Sudo. That dude is amazing. He was an amazing fighter and a fucking slick grappler. I don't know if you guys ever saw his. There's a YouTube video, highlight video of him in one of Chris Brennan's tournaments, the West Side Strangler, and he fucking mows through this tournament. And there's a highlights of him just mowing through everybody in that tournament. If you guys like slick no-gi grappling, check out Genki Sudo West Side Strangler tournament. It's an amazing highlight video.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, but his and everyone who's not aware of him, definitely go check out his walkouts because every single one was elaborate and different. He didn't even. It's not like he did the same thing every time. Every single time was a spectacle.
All right, I got time, guys. I gotta go.
All right, guys.
All right. Yeah, it's about that time, anyways, guys.
Peace, y'all.
Have a good one, boss. All right. You guys got anything you want to cover right quick before we get out of here?
All done, man. You guys have a great weekend. All
right. Thanks for calling, Canada. We always appreciate it.
All right.
And we appreciate you too, Tenor. Calling anytime. So you guys have a great night. Ryan, you got anything you want to cover before we get out of here?
Yeah, I've got 2 things. Number 1, we kind of touched on this earlier, but we have a busy weekend coming up. Tomorrow night, starting at the normal time, we'll be covering the fight night on ESPN, headlined versus Tyron Woodley versus Gilbert Burns. Then we will be back again on Sunday to watch Superhuman hopefully injure himself critically.
Woohoo! I want to thank the OG Army for showing up. We can't do the show without you. I want to thank Tender and Uncle Canada for calling in. They're always great times. Anything else, Ryan?
Yes, I always have one last thing. Fuck all y'all.
Everyone have a great night. We'll see everyone tomorrow at 6. Bye-bye.
Screw you, hippie!